Hey guys, I'm Barrett Nelson from On the Trail Creations in Fairbanks, Alaska. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about these little mini pocket prayer quilts that have been going around the internet. Shabby Fabrics YouTube channel has a tutorial, and there's just been other people making them too, and they're really cool. So I am going to show you a little bit of a twist that I came up with to make them. I think it makes them a little bit easier. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Usually these are something that you would maybe stick in a card or just give to someone, with a little note attached that said, just keep this in your pocket and remember God's love for you, or put a note or scripture or something that you want them to remember when they feel this in their pocket. Sometimes they have a little cross charm stitched on the outside or actually stitched onto the inside. I didn't do either of those because on mine, what I decided to do instead was make a little pocket on my pocket prayer quilt. I thought you could stick a little message or something in there, and it can even stay in there unless it goes through the wash. But I thought that would be kind of cool, but also it makes them much easier to make. They're a little bit of a pain to make a teeny tiny quilt like this. So let me show you just a little what makes it a little bit different. But they're really easy and fun and quick to make, and be a great thing to stick in one of the cards that you made using one of our card kits, of course, or any card. So let me show you how these go. So first, I've already made a couple of little mini 4 patches. I'm not going to show you how to do that because I think if you're a quilter, you'll already know that. So they're just 1.5 inch strips, and then chunks that you cut off the strips to get this, which is now 2.5 inches approximately. But again, you can make it exactly, or whatever size you want. It doesn't have to be exactly that. So then sometimes people put batting in them, or sometimes not, because it gets hard to turn if they have batting. But I thought of putting fusible fleece, so it's bumpy on one side and fusible. So I'm going to put that on the back. I cut it 1/4 inch smaller than my little mini quilt here, and the glue side is facing the little block, and I'm gonna flip it over so the fabric is on top, because it is a little bit easier to get the heat in that way. So I'm also going to make 2 at a time because it's a little bit easier to sew them that way. Chain piecing. So flip that over. So now it's going to have a little bit of batting, but it's not going to be in the seam, so it won't be quite as bulky. All right, so here's where it gets different. Normally you would just take a 2.5 inch square and stitch it most of the way around, put it, face down, stitch it most of the way around, and then turn it right side out, and then top stitch around the edge, or hand sew that little opening closed. But I figured out a way to avoid that and end up with a cute little pocket. So what I did was I took a 2.5 by 5.5 inch strip. So let's pretend these are still hooked together. But instead of cutting it in the middle, I cut it 1/4 inch off of the middle. So one was 1/4 inch too big and one was 1/4 inch too small. And the one that was too big, I did a little rolled hem, just a little, slightly over 1/4 inch actually, rolled hem. So now I'm going to take that one and put it on my little quilt block there. And I have another one here. So I'm putting it in the corner, and I'm putting the folded edge away from the edge because I don't want that to get caught in the seam. And then my one that was too short, and I'm just mixing and matching patterns here, I put on the other side in the corner. So now the whole thing's covered exactly. Okay, and then we're going to just stitch around. So let me show you that again just to make sure. I cut my pieces, instead of 2.5 by 2.5, it was 2.25 on one, this one, and 2.75 on the other one by 2.5. And then put this face down and you want the one with the seam first, the hem. Put that there, and then put this over. It's only going to fit one way. It's going to be too short if you put it that way, but you want to line up with the opposite end so they overlap almost completely, but not quite. And that's not going to quite get caught in the seam going this way either, and that's okay because then it won't add bulk. So now I'm going to stitch that. I keep a little beginner and ender fabric in my machine. 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can go all the way around. You don't have to leave an opening because the pocket is an opening. So when I get it all the way around, I'm going to overlap this one by quite a bit. All right. Get my little beginner here. Okay, so now stitch all the way around. I'm going to clip a little bit out of the corners. I didn't make two after all. I just did my beginner and ender thing, but that's okay. So now you can see there's a little flap there that you can turn. And it's a big hole, bigger hole than if you were going to just leave a hole to turn, because you don't want to go around the corners. Use my corner poker, which is cool. My husband made it for me from Alaskan birch, and I decorated it. These are going to be up on our website this soon, hopefully. I've been saying that for a while, though. So I got one flap turned, and now I'm going to turn the other one. All right. I didn't poke my first corner out. I'd have to unfold it to do that better. So I'm not sure I'm willing to do that. Maybe I'll just use a pin. Just do it carefully. Okay. And then press that some more. And maybe use a little steam too, which I don't have on this little mini iron. Okay. And that's it. You have a little tiny 2-inch quilt with a little pocket to put your note in. That one edge technically isn't finished all the way in there, but I think it'll be fine. It's way down in there. And if you wanted to put like a little tie with embroidery floss or something on the outside, then you would want to do that before, at this stage, before you put everything together, because you can't get at it without sewing your pocket shut once you get to this stage. But they're pretty quick and super cute and fun, and would be a great way to bless someone's day. So thanks for watching.